Let me ask you something powerful. How many of you woke up today with a plan, and how many of you simply woke up? Because there's a difference between being awake and being alive. Most people open their eyes in the morning, but only a few open their purpose. Let me tell you something powerful. The way you start your morning determines how you end your day, and how you end your day determines how you live your life. Most people wake up reacting to life, not leading it. They open their eyes, and the first thing they do is open social media. They start their day by scrolling through someone else's dream while theirs slowly fades in the background. And that's the tragedy of our generation. We've learned to wake up, but we've forgotten how to rise. You can't expect to win the day when the first thing you do is surrender your focus. The morning is not just another part of your day, it's the launch pad of your destiny. Those first few moments after you wake up, that's when your mind is the most powerful, the most creative, and the most honest with itself. But instead of feeding that mind with purpose, we feed it with noise. We start our mornings with distractions disguised as information. We confuse activity with progress. And by the time we realize what we've lost, half the day is gone. Success begins long before the office, before the meetings, before the world starts demanding your attention. It begins the moment you decide that your time is sacred. Every morning you get a chance to reset, to reimagine, to refocus. But that chance means nothing if you give it away cheaply. That's why successful people don't just wake up early, they wake up intentionally. They understand that the world rewards those who master their mornings, not those who wander through them. Imagine this. Your mind is a battlefield, and your morning is the first hour of war. The enemy isn't outside, it's within. It's that voice that says, sleep a little longer, you deserve it. It's that whisper that says, you'll start tomorrow. But here's the truth. The habit of delaying greatness is the reason most people never experience it. The bed has killed more dreams than failure ever did. Every time you hit the snooze button, you're not just delaying your day, you're delaying your destiny. The morning doesn't just test your schedule, it tests your self-control. It's not about waking up early, it's about waking up with clarity. It's about asking yourself, what is my mission today? What am I chasing? What am I building? Because when you start your morning with direction, you carry that power into every hour that follows. The man who owns his morning owns his life. Don't mistake movement for meaning. Most people start their mornings in a rush, running to beat traffic, running to meet deadlines, running to survive. But the people who build empires, they don't rush, they rise. They take control of their thoughts before the world tells them what to think. They start with gratitude, with reflection, with vision. They don't let the day decide their mood. They decide how the day will unfold. Let me be real with you. If you can't control the first hour of your day, you'll never control your life. The morning is the rehearsal for your purpose. It's the moment that reveals whether you're leading your life or being led by it. So before you check your phone, check your mindset. Before you chase emails, chase excellence. Before you meet the world, meet yourself. Sit in silence. Think, breathe, pray, reflect, do something that reminds you that you're alive for a reason bigger than notifications and noise. Because here's the truth. How you start determines how you finish. You can't build focus on a foundation of chaos. You can't expect productivity if you begin your day in distraction. The morning gives you a choice. Either control it or be controlled by it. When you choose to own your morning, you send a message to the universe that you're serious about your goals. You tell life, I'm not here to exist, I'm here to expand. I've seen it time and again. People who transform their mornings transform their lives. The athlete who starts his day training before the sun rises doesn't just build muscles, he builds character. The entrepreneur who begins her day planning, reading, visualizing. She's not just building a business, she's building mastery. The student who studies at dawn isn't just chasing grades, he's chasing greatness. There's a discipline, a power, a sense of control that comes from mastering your mornings. And once you taste that control, you never want to go back to chaos. Think about it. The richest people in the world don't have extra hours. They have extra discipline. They use the same clock you do, but they use it differently. The difference is not time, it's intention. They've learned that your first decisions of the day are the most expensive ones. What you give your attention to in the morning shapes everything that follows. That's why your morning can either become your momentum or your mistake. So when you wake up tomorrow, remember, you have two choices. You can start your day by reacting to life, or you can start your day by directing it. You can reach for your phone, or you can reach for your purpose. You can wake up tired and distracted, or you can wake up intentional and alive. The choice will always be yours, but one path leads to regret, the other leads to results. The morning belongs to the focused, and focus belongs to the disciplined. You can't live a powerful life on a powerless morning, so own your morning. Guard it with everything you have. Let the world wake up to you, not the other way around. Because when you master your mornings, you don't just create successful days, you create a successful life. Let me start with a simple truth. Most people don't plan their day, they survive it. They wake up and immediately start reacting to whatever the world throws at them. Their schedule is not designed, it's dictated. They move from one urgency to another, constantly busy, but rarely effective. And at the end of the day, they wonder why they feel exhausted, yet unfulfilled. The answer is simple. They're working hard, but not working on purpose. You see, there's a difference between movement and progress. A rocking chair moves all day, but it goes nowhere. And that's how many people live their lives. Constantly moving, constantly tired, but not moving forward. Planning your day with purpose isn't about filling every hour with tasks. It's about giving every hour a reason. It's about aligning what you do with who you are becoming. Because if your actions don't reflect your ambitions, then you're not managing your day. Your day is managing you. Here's the problem with most people. They let the urgent overpower the important. They wake up and immediately dive into the noise. Emails, messages, deadlines, other people's demands. They mistake other people's priorities for their own. But understand this, not everything that screams deserves your attention. If everything is a priority, then nothing truly is. The key to success is not doing more, it's doing what matters most with focus and fire. Let me ask you a question. When you wake up in the morning, do you own your time or does the world own it? Because that one question reveals everything about your results. Purposeful people don't start their day wondering what to do. They decide what to do before the day begins. They don't wait for the day to shape them, they shape the day. They understand that a well-planned day is not a restriction, it's liberation. Structure gives you freedom, focus gives you energy, purpose gives you direction. Imagine your day as a stage. Every hour is a scene. Every task is a character. If you don't write the script, someone else will. That's why you can't afford to live without a plan. You can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary habits. You can't achieve world-class results with a wing-it mentality. If your dream matters, then your schedule must show it. The greats of every field, whether business, sports, or art, have one thing in common: intentionality. They don't just move, they move strategically. They don't just do, they design. They plan their days with precision, not pressure. They know when to rest, when to create, when to study, and when to execute. They understand that the energy of the day is finite, so they spend it wisely. If you don't assign your energy a mission, it will find a distraction. Here's what most people get wrong. They confuse being busy with being productive. Busyness is a trap. It gives you the illusion of progress while quietly stealing your potential. Productivity, on the other hand, is purpose in motion. It's when every action is connected to a vision. Planning your day with purpose means that every task must answer one question: does this move me closer to my goal or further away from it? If the answer is no, it doesn't belong in your day. Think of your day like a bank account. Every hour is a deposit. Some people spend their hours buying distractions. Others invest their hours building dreams. The people who rise to greatness are not the ones who have more hours. They're the ones who use their hours differently. They don't chase balance. They chase alignment. They make sure their calendar reflects their calling. There's a saying, show me your schedule and I'll show you your priorities. You can say you want success, but if your day is filled with random scrolling, empty conversations, and meaningless tasks, you're lying to yourself. Purpose isn't proven by what you say, it's proven by what you schedule. The difference between a dreamer and an achiever is planning. Dreams fade without structure. Ideas die without execution, and execution requires clarity. So how do you plan your day with purpose? You start by identifying the top 3 actions that will move you closer to your long-term vision. Not 10, not 20, just 3, because clarity is power and simplicity drives execution. Once you identify those 3, you guard them like treasure. You schedule them at your peak hours, the time of day when your energy, focus, and creativity are highest. That's when you do your most meaningful work. Everything else can wait. And here's the secret. Your plan must serve your purpose, not your ego. Many people plan for approval, not achievement. They fill their calendar to look busy, not to be effective. But success isn't about how much you do. It's about how much impact you create. A purposeful day doesn't always mean a packed one. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause, think, and realign. When you plan with purpose, you start living with confidence. You stop chasing time, and time starts chasing you. You move with certainty, not confusion. You begin to feel the power of control, the kind of control that doesn't come from arrogance, but from alignment. Because when your plan matches your purpose, everything flows. You don't wake up lost, you wake up ready. You don't end the day drained, you end it fulfilled. And remember this, life doesn't reward the busiest person in the room. It rewards the most intentional one. You can't win a game you didn't plan to play, so plan your day like your future depends on it, because it does. Every decision, every hour, every action is a brick in the foundation of your destiny. Don't just live your days, lead them. Don't just manage time, master it, because the one who owns the plan owns the power. Time, the most precious currency we will ever own. Everyone is given the same 24 hours, but how we spend them defines who we become. Some people treat time like treasure, others treat it like trash. Some protect it like gold, others give it away to anyone and anything that asks for it. The difference between the successful and the struggling is not luck, not talent, not opportunity. It's how they value their time. Let me tell you something real. If you don't respect your time, no one else will. Every minute you waste is a piece of your destiny slipping away. Every meaningless conversation, every unnecessary scroll, every "I'll do it later," it's a withdrawal from the bank of your potential. Time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause. It doesn't negotiate. Once it's gone forever. The richest man in the world cannot buy back yesterday. The poorest man alive still owns this moment. That's the ultimate equality of life. Time is fair, but how we use it determines who wins. Let me ask you, how many of your days have been stolen by things that don't matter? How many of your dreams have been delayed because of distractions disguised as opportunities? Most people don't lose time in big chunks. They lose it slowly, in small, careless moments. A few minutes wasted here, a few hours lost there, until one day they look back and realize they've been busy all their lives, but never truly moved. That's the silent tragedy of time mismanagement. You have to understand, not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every meeting deserves your presence. Not every message deserves your reply. Success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about knowing that your time is your life, and your life is too important to be wasted pleasing people who don't even care about your vision. You have to become selective, ruthless with distractions, gentle with your dreams. Here's the truth that separates the great from the average. Successful people say no more often than they say yes, because they know every yes carries a cost. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something essential. You're saying no to your growth, your goals, your greatness. That's why learning to say no is not arrogance, it's self-respect. It's understanding that time is the oxygen of achievement, and you can't breathe freely if everyone is stealing your air. You must protect your time the same way a warrior protects his weapon, because without it, you're defenseless. Guard your calendar. Be intentional about who gets your minutes. You can't allow gossip, negativity, and chaos to rent space in your day. The people who talk too much about others will never help you build your future. Distance yourself from them. You need people who speak in goals, not gossip. People who talk about strategy, not scandal. Energy is contagious, and so is focus. Choose your environment wisely. Think about this. Every day you live is a vote for your future. What you give your time to becomes your reality. The people who spend their days learning, growing, building, they create a future of abundance. The ones who spend their time complaining, comparing, and procrastinating, they build a future of regret. The price of greatness is not money, it's time. And most people are too cheap with their commitment and too generous with their distractions. The most powerful people in the world have mastered one thing, the art of time ownership. They don't let the world dictate their schedule. They build their own. They operate by priorities, not pressure. They know when to walk away, when to pause, and when to execute. They understand that their calendar is a reflection of their destiny. You can tell everything about a person's future by looking at how they spend their hours today. Let me give you a truth that might sting. If you are always available, you are not valuable. Valuable people protect their availability because they know their energy is finite. Every yes drains your focus. Every distraction delays your dream. You don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. You don't have to explain your silence. Your purpose doesn't need permission to be prioritized. Protecting your time isn't selfish. It's necessary. There will always be something trying to steal your attention. Social media, entertainment, noise, people who don't understand your vision. They'll say, "Come relax, you deserve it." But success demands sacrifice. You can't build an extraordinary life on ordinary discipline. You can't expect focus if you feed your mind with chaos. Your time is your seed. Plant it wisely. Every wasted hour is a seed of regret. Every focused hour is a seed of legacy. And don't misunderstand, protecting your time doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means aligning yourself. It means giving time only to the people, projects, and purposes that align with where you're going. The right people won't drain your time, they'll multiply it. The right habits won't consume your hours, they'll enhance your hours. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what moves you closer to the person you're meant to become. So every morning ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now worthy of my time? Because your time is your life on display. If it doesn't serve your future, it's stealing from it. You don't need more hours, you need more focus. You don't need to be everywhere, you need to be where it matters. Protect your time because that's where your power lives. The world is full of people who dream of success, but never protect the hours that lead to it. Don't be one of them. Be the person who values each minute like it's gold, because it is. The people who rise, who build, who leave legacies, they all understand one simple truth. Time is not money, time is life, and once it's gone, there are no refunds. Let me tell you something most people never understand. Discipline will do for you what motivation never can. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the excitement fades. Motivation makes you feel good. Discipline makes you great. The difference between the ones who wish and the ones who win isn't passion, it's persistence. And persistence is born out of discipline. Everyone wants success until they see what it demands. Everyone wants greatness until they realize it's built on boring, repetitive, unseen effort. The world celebrates the results, but it ignores the routine that created them. You see someone's success and say, they're lucky. No, they're consistent. They've done the same things daily, long after the feeling of motivation left, because they understand that discipline is doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Let me be honest. If you only work when you feel inspired, you'll never achieve anything worth remembering. The world belongs to those who can act without emotion controlling them. Feelings are temporary, but habits are permanent. The disciplined person doesn't wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, or the perfect environment. They create progress in imperfection. They show up even on the days they don't want to, especially on those days, because discipline isn't about how you feel, it's about what you've committed to becoming. Think about the greats, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the artists. They all share a secret. They built a system that made excellence non-negotiable. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on mastery. When everyone else is sleeping, they're sharpening their craft. When others are distracted, they're focused. When the world slows down, they speed up. And it's not because they're superhuman. It's because they've trained their mind to obey their purpose, not their emotions. Here's the harsh truth. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. It's not exciting most of the time. It's repetition. It's saying no to comfort. It's fighting the urge to quit. It's waking up early, staying late, pushing further, even when nobody's watching. But those quiet moments, those unseen hours, that's where the transformation happens. That's where dreams turn into skill, and skill turns into success. Most people think success is a big event, one breakthrough, one lucky opportunity, one viral moment. But real success is built in the small decisions you make every day. It's the choice to read instead of scrolling, to practice instead of partying, to push instead of procrastinate. Those small daily victories compound over time until one day the world calls you an overnight success. But you and I know there's no such thing. There's only daily discipline. Discipline is a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows when you use it. The first few days will be hard. Your mind will resist. Your body will complain. Your old habits will whisper, "Take it easy, you deserve rest." But you have to fight through that resistance. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you're rewiring your brain for greatness. You're proving to yourself that you are in control, not your comfort zone. Here's the difference between average and extraordinary. Average people want to feel good before they act. Extraordinary people act, and then they feel good about the action. The reward comes after the work, not before it. And the more disciplined you become, the freer you actually feel. Because discipline doesn't restrict your life, and it refines it. It gives you control over your future, your health, your money, your growth. Freedom without discipline is chaos. True freedom comes from the ability to control yourself. When you make discipline a daily ritual, life starts to shift. You stop relying on willpower and start living by systems. You don't need to convince yourself to work. It becomes automatic. You don't struggle to stay consistent. It becomes part of who you are. That's when you know discipline has evolved into identity. You're no longer pretending to be disciplined. You are disciplined. Every successful person lives by a routine that reflects their values. They've structured their days in a way that serves their goals. They wake up at the same time, read at the same time, practice at the same time, because they understand that success is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can go hard for a week, but can you stay steady for years? That's what separates champions from spectators. Ask yourself this: how many dreams have died because someone was waiting to feel ready? How many ideas were never executed because the person wanted to wait for the right time? The truth is, there is no right time, only disciplined action. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work relentlessly day after day with precision and patience. The disciplined individual doesn't need to be told what to do. They already know their mission. They don't wait for applause or validation. They move in silence and let their results make the noise. When they fail, they don't quit. They adjust. Because discipline doesn't guarantee perfection, it guarantees progress. And progress, no matter how small, is still victory. Understand this. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your reality. It's the link between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, your dreams remain fantasies. With it, even the impossible becomes inevitable. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you build power, you strengthen your focus, you gain momentum, and that momentum, once built, becomes unstoppable. So build your life around rituals that push you forward, not routines that pull you back. Wake up at the same time. Write your goals every morning. Move your body. Sharpen your mind. Feed your spirit. Let these habits become sacred, because the truth is, discipline is not something you do. It's something you become. And when that happens, when your daily discipline becomes your identity, no setback can break you, no challenge can stop you, and no dream is too far. Because you won't just have discipline, you'll be disciplined. Let me tell you something you probably don't hear enough. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills you'll ever develop in your journey towards success. Not because saying no is easy, but because it's necessary. Every yes you give comes with a cost. Every commitment, every agreement, every task steals a piece of your time, energy, and focus. And the truth is, most people are drowning not because of what they can't do, but because of what they refuse to stop doing. They're overloaded, overcommitted, overstressed, all because they never learned the power of a well-placed no. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. Everyone wants to be involved in everything. People say yes to every opportunity, every request, every distraction, just to feel relevant, to feel wanted, to feel busy. But being busy is not the same as being productive. Activity is not accomplishment. And when you fill your days with too many yeses, you leave no space for the things that actually matter. Your dreams start suffocating under the weight of everyone else's expectations. You have to understand this. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you're saying no to something meaningful. You're saying no to your focus, no to your peace, no to your progress. You can't build an empire while constantly explaining yourself to people who don't even understand your vision. You can't chase greatness if you're always running errands for someone else's goals. You can't live with purpose if your time is controlled by people who have none. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you said yes, even though your heart screamed no? When was the last time you ignored your intuition just to avoid disappointing someone? That's how most people live, constantly pleasing others, quietly betraying themselves. But success is not built on approval. It's built on alignment. You have to align your time with your mission, not with other people's emotions, because you can't make everyone happy, and you shouldn't try. Your goal is not to be liked. Your goal is to be legendary. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you responsible. It means you've grown enough to protect your energy. It means you understand that not every door leads to destiny. Some doors lead to distraction, delay, and destruction. And just because an opportunity looks good doesn't mean it's good for you. The enemy of great is not failure. It's distraction disguised as success. Learn to discern what deserves your yes. Every time you say yes to someone else's urgency, you sacrifice your own priority. You cannot give your best to your vision if your energy is scattered across meaningless commitments. The successful are not the most talented, they are the most selective. They guard their time, their focus, their attention like treasure. They understand that saying no to the wrong things creates space for the right things to grow. And here's the truth. The higher you rise, the more valuable your no becomes. The more successful you become, the more people will want a piece of your time. Everyone will want a meeting, a favor, a conversation, a collaboration. But if you say yes to everything, you'll end up losing yourself in the noise. You'll become busy, but not effective, important, but not impactful. The truly great ones, they know their boundaries. They say no quickly, clearly, and confidently because they're not protecting their ego. They're protecting their purpose. Let me tell you something powerful. Saying no is not rejection, it's direction. Every no is a statement of focus. It says, I know what matters and I refuse to be distracted. It says, my time is valuable and my purpose is not up for negotiation. It says, I'd rather disappoint others temporarily than disappoint myself permanently. That's real maturity, that's real strength. Most people are addicted to saying yes because they're afraid of conflict. They fear being misunderstood, judged, or disliked. But the truth is, no matter how much you say yes, some people will still find a reason to criticize you. So you might as well protect your peace while you're being judged. The people who matter won't mind your boundaries, and the people who mind your boundaries don't matter. Think of your focus like a beam of light. Every unnecessary yes dims that light. Every distraction weakens your direction. But when you learn to say no, your focus becomes sharp, intense, unstoppable. That's when real progress happens. You can't light up the world if your own fire keeps flickering out because of other people's demands. There's a quote that says, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. That's not arrogance, that's awareness. They know exactly what moves the needle in their lives. They know what adds value and what drains it. They understand that you cannot be everywhere, do everything, or please everyone, and you don't have to. You just have to stay true to your mission. So the next time someone asks for your time, your energy, your attention, pause. Ask yourself, does this align with my goals? Will this move me forward or hold me back? If it doesn't serve your vision, it doesn't deserve your yes. Remember, your life is shaped more by the things you refuse than the things you accept. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. Saying no will make you feel guilty, even selfish. But that guilt fades. The regret of wasted time doesn't. Every successful person had to master this, the art of selective focus. They learned that peace is more valuable than popularity, that clarity is more powerful than connection, and that saying no is not closing doors, it's opening the right ones. The truth is, you can't say yes to everything and expect excellence. Excellence requires focus, and focus requires sacrifice. You'll have to let go of good things to make room for great ones. You'll have to disappoint people who expect you to be available all the time. You'll have to embrace the discomfort of boundaries because boundaries are the birthplace of greatness. So learn to say no without guilt. Say it with purpose. Say it with power, because every no you speak brings you one step closer to the life you were meant to live. The life of focus, freedom, and fulfillment doesn't begin when you say yes to more. It begins when you finally learn to say no to less. At the end of each day, when the noise of the world fades and the lights go dim, there comes a moment that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the moment of reflection. The question is simple but powerful. Did you live today or did you just exist? Because existing is easy. It takes no courage to survive. It takes no strength to drift through a day following the same patterns, chasing the same comfort. But to live, truly live, that takes intention, awareness, and reflection. Most people never pause long enough to ask themselves what their days are worth. They wake up, rush through routines, drown in distractions, chase deadlines, scroll endlessly, and call it living. But if you look closer, they're not living. They're merely repeating. They're not moving forward. They're just spinning in circles, busy but empty. And the saddest part is that they don't even realize it, because without reflection, you can't see where you're headed. You can't fix what you refuse to face. Success doesn't come from having more hours in the day. It comes from being intentional with the hours you already have. That's why reflection is not optional. It's essential. It's your mental mirror. It's where growth is born. When you sit down at night and replay your day in your mind, you begin to see patterns. What worked, what failed, what distracted you, what fueled you. And that awareness is power, because what you don't reflect on, you repeat. Ask yourself, what did I do today that truly mattered? Did I grow? Did I move closer to my goals, or did I just get tired? Did I spend my time building something meaningful, or did I waste it scrolling, gossiping, comparing, complaining? Be honest with yourself, because the mirror never lies. You can fool others with words, but you can't fool yourself with silence. Reflection forces you to face your truth, and growth begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. You see, reflection is not about guilt. It's about guidance. It's not about judging your day. It's about learning from it. Every failure carries a lesson. Every success carries a clue. Every decision leaves a trail. When you take time to reflect, you start connecting those dots. You start understanding why you do what you do. You start recognizing the habits that serve you and the ones that sabotage you. You start owning your story instead of letting it own you. Here's the thing. People think progress is about speed, but progress is about direction. And direction only comes from reflection. Without reflection, you're just running fast toward nowhere. You're like a ship with full sails, but no compass. Impressive to look at, but lost in the middle of the ocean. Reflection gives you your compass back. It points you toward purpose. It helps you correct your course before you drift too far from your destiny. Think of the great leaders, the high performers, the change makers. They all share one habit. They end their days with reflection. They review their actions, their words, their results. They measure their effort, not just their outcomes, because they understand that success is not built in the spotlight. It's built in silence. In those quiet moments when they ask themselves, "Did I give my best today?" That single question keeps them accountable, humble, and hungry. And maybe that's what you need, a moment of truth at the end of each day, a few minutes to check in with yourself, to ask, was I intentional or impulsive? Did I focus or drift? Did I react or respond? Did I live by design or by default? Because success isn't about how many days you live. It's about how many days you were truly alive. Let's be honest, it's easy to get lost in the noise. It's easy to mistake movement for progress. You wake up, go to work, handle responsibilities, and by the time you get home, you're exhausted. But exhaustion doesn't mean accomplishment. You can work all day and still achieve nothing of meaning if your actions aren't aligned with your purpose. Reflection forces you to align again. It's your daily reset button, your reminder that life is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Every night before you sleep, take a few minutes to disconnect from the world and reconnect with yourself. Put away the phone, turn off the noise, sit with your thoughts, replay your day like a movie. Watch yourself make decisions. Watch how you reacted to pressure. Watch how you spoke to people. Watch how you treated your time. And then ask yourself, would I be proud if this version of me showed up again tomorrow? Because if the answer is no, you've just found your next area of growth. Don't let days blur into each other like unmarked pages. Write your days in ink, not in dust. Capture the lessons, record the gratitude, acknowledge the effort, celebrate the small wins. When you reflect, you give meaning to your journey. You start realizing that every day is a chapter, and how you live it determines the story you'll tell. And here's the beauty of reflection. It transforms regret into wisdom. You no longer beat yourself up for what went wrong. You extract the lesson and move on stronger. You stop being a victim of your day and start becoming the author of your tomorrow. That's how you evolve. That's how you rise. Every night you reflect, you refine. Every morning you wake up, you rebuild. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself that one question again. Did I live today, or did I just exist? Because one day, you won't have another tomorrow to fix what you ignored today. One day, the clock will stop ticking. And when that day comes, may you not look back and realize that you were alive, but never living. Reflection is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Without it, you'll stay stuck in the loop of yesterday. But with it, you'll rise every day with purpose, direction, and clarity. Because success doesn't belong to those who move the fastest. It belongs to those who think the deepest. The world belongs to the man or woman who has the courage to pause, reflect, and ask, did I live today, or did I just exist?